So you posted this video and it didn't like get a lot of views at first.
All the social media platforms that I was using had changed.
What did you figure out?
It took me a month to come up with like one reel to try to make a video go viral. As I kept posting, like some of them got 8 million views and 1 million views. Like
You feel like you figured out the algorithm on IG. What did you figure out? So you're doing a crowdfunding campaign. How much did you raise?
So from grants, I was only eligible for 2 since I'm a first-time filmmaker. I got a grant of 50K and a grant that offered 100K for like exceptional projects.
Awesome.
And from the crowdfunding, we got 154K, I think.
Wow. Amazing. Okay, so you've raised like 300 grand. How'd it go?
It started off like shit and then it ended well.
Why did it start off like shit?
Because I realized that even just 1 year, the YouTube algorithm had changed. And I was relying on like just posting the trailer and it going viral again. So the views were very low in the beginning. So I was like, oh, fuck. I need to find a way to get views.
But this was the first or second video on your channel? Like there's not that many videos on your YouTube channel, right?
Because I privated the old trailers because I was too embarrassed.
You privated the old trailers.
There's some from like 2019 was the first ever.
Okay.
And then there was one in 2024.
Okay.
And then 2025.
Okay, got it. So you had these 3 trailers. How many did the first 2 trailers get versus this one?
Okay, so the first time I put it, it went more viral on Facebook. Hi, my name is Celine, and I was just your average sheltered and closeted Asian Canadian. But on YouTube, it only had like 14,000. But the engagement rate was really high. Like people were commenting on it and there were long comments, you know. So I knew that there was potential, but it wasn't good enough to even be viral yet. So that's why I reworked it into the second one. The second one got 50K views. But then I wasn't proud of the hook.
Hi, my name is Celine, and this is a story of how a delusional idiot spent the last 10 years filming a legendary success story.
And I felt like something was missing still. And then finally, there's this version.
So you posted this video and it didn't like get a lot of views at first.
Yeah, it was like pretty slow compared to before. And even I would share it like with my friends and family on Facebook. And even on Facebook, I realized that it wasn't getting the reach that it originally did. And also like Facebook groups, like niche Facebook groups, like for Asian creatives, for example, was nowhere nearly as big as before. Like a comparison would be like when I posted it in 2019, it got thousands of likes, like 2K, I think. And then in 2024, maybe like 1K. And then like 200 max, like when I posted it again. So like all the social media platforms that I was using like had changed. And I just couldn't reach the people I usually could reach.
And what did you do about that? So you released this video, you tried it in those Facebook groups, you promoted it there. It didn't work, but then it ended up going okay. How did you, I know so many creative people who are literally experiencing exactly that. How did you solve it?
So I started making short form content on Instagram specifically because my video on Instagram had gone viral, like 2-3 million views. And then as I kept posting, like some of them got 8 million views and like 1 million views, like consistently, I figured out IG algorithm.
What did you figure out?
So I think there's different recipes for success and it depends on each creator. And at the end of the day, I think like as artists or creators, the more personal you are, the more universal it will be. And that's like a bit of a paradox. But also, I think that saying to me stems from Bong Joon-ho, who said, the more personal, the better. So like when I was figuring out IG, I was like, I wasn't thinking like, okay, like what dumb shit can I say so people stop scrolling? I'll just be like, okay, what did I feel? And then, you know, it's hard for me because I go from like trying to be like corporate, like money oriented. And then I'm like, okay, connect to your feelings. And I grew up being repressed, you know, so it took me like a month to come up with like one reel, like pre-production, to try to make a video go viral. I really had to be like, okay, what is this doc about? Like, what feeling was one of the most strongest, or maybe the more taboo? And one of like my hooks was like, oh, growing up, like I hated the fact that I was born to an Asian household, and that like really resonated with people. And then it was long and complicated because not only did I have to explain what the freaking project was, and there's so much footage, I also had to explain how the project came to be. So there's like 2 stories in one, and you have to do it within 1 minute 30.
Yeah.
So it took a lot of time to find the right pacing. Like, oh, am I saying too much or is it too fast? Like, even if it's short form, it shouldn't be like,
Right.
there's a pacing. So, yeah.
Can you spoil that reel for us? Why did you hate growing up in an Asian household?
Oh, I think for a majority of other Asian, more conservative Asian immigrant families, you can't talk back. You're expected to like be hyper successful too, and you're born with this immense guilt and pressure of making their sacrifice worth something.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's also taboo because growing up, my mom was like, you can't say anything bad about the family. So that's why growing up, I didn't have many friends because I couldn't open up.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Heavy. So the reel was about that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that went viral.
And then I just like did that with each member of my family and with my ex. Just like being honest about like our stories.
That's such an interesting answer to my question. What did you figure out about the Instagram algorithm? It may be the best answer I've ever heard, actually, because I think ultimately one of my favorite quotes about like what art is that it's like transmitting a feeling to another person, like a feeling that you once had. You make something that gives that other person a feeling of that flavor or magnitude. And so what you're saying is like, what did you figure out about how to make stuff that resonates? Well, you just went really deep inside yourself and were like, what is the thing that I have to say that is unique to me in my experience? And then how do I say that as fully and openly and honestly as possible? And you did, and it really resonated with people. That's a beautiful answer to the question. Can I ask you, so for the folks watching, how do you tap into what you tapped into? How do you dig deep enough to say the thing that is really true to yourself? What was your process like? Were you just pacing around a room writing notes? Were you doing therapy? Were you brainstorming? Like, how did you actually find the thing to say that was that personal and specific and real and true to yourself?
Honestly, like if it wasn't for this project, I don't think I would have ever been able to tap into it because I was kind of forced to face myself, like watching the footage. So the first exercise or experience I had with that was when I made the documentary. And because I had already done it with the documentary for a 3-hour-long project,
right,
I just tried to do it with a shorter format. Like even with the trailer, which is like a whole other format too. It's like short, medium format.
Yeah.
Medium format? I don't know, like 3 minutes, 2 minutes and a half. So I had to tap in multiple times, different mediums. But usually it's just rewatching the footage.
Yes.
And like allowing myself to not seeing it as a editor or a robot, but just as somebody watching it. And my way to know if something is done or good is if it makes me feel something. Because I've seen this footage like so many times.
Yeah.
And so if it still makes me feel sad or some type of way, I know people will feel something.
Yeah. God, I love that answer. It's, now that I think about it, it's very simple. Like sometimes I give a talk or a presentation or stuff like that. And if like my personal story is a piece of it, I usually end up spending a good chunk of the time going through my photo library, just like over the last 20 years of photos and the things that have happened in the chapters of my life. And I start to well up with like feelings of nostalgia and missing people that are no longer here. And I usually find in the course of doing that, I find the things that I want to say in the presentation. So there's something really, I think that's a great way to kind of figure it out, is like review the stuff that you've captured, review your life, review the things that are meaningful to you. It's a cool idea.
there's a lot of taboo subjects that I'm touching upon that I never wanted to touch upon. How do I get people's attention without selling my soul, but also like being true to the story?
Yeah.
I suddenly got like mass dislikes on the video, and I was like, I just want to do my project in peace. Fuck!